Hello, this is Pat Walker at Mission Winners. We're doing a video of the top 10 groups so that you can take a look at these leading stocks. Here's a statistical fact for you, not an opinion of fact. Leading groups produce leading stocks. It's common sense, but a lot of people never really take it in consideration. So what are we doing? We're going to take a look at the leading groups, but more importantly, stocks that have a composite rating of 90 or higher that are within 15 to 20% of 52-week highs. These are stocks that, again, from a statistical perspective, lead advances. Does it work every time? No, nothing works every time, but it works more times than not, and that's why I'm presenting it to you. So I want to slide this into the window and show you. Here are the top 10 leading groups this week. Auto manufacturing, semiconductor equipment, office supplies, biotechnology, gaming equipment, electronics, RV manufacturing, semiconductor fabless, agricultural operations, cable and satellite services. Notice this, semiconductor. Another group that's been very strong are software stocks. By the way, the screen that I ran has stocks that only have a composite rating of 90 or higher and no thin stocks. Also, I need to tell you this. On my screens, I take biotechnology stocks out. And you could say, why? Why? I'll tell you why. Through 30 years, what I have found is biotechnology can be great going up, but one bad story, one bad news headline can crack a stock. And if you want to do it, that's fine. But I am not going to present them simply out of, to tell you the truth, respect for your safety. If you want to do them, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not going to do it. I don't expose myself to it. There's too many other great opportunities. And again, I've seen too many disasters hit with the biotechnology stocks through 30 years. And that's why. But again, I'm not criticizing it if anybody wants to. No. I'm just doing it for safety's sake, out of respect. So here's the leading groups. Here they are. So let's go in and take a look at the stocks. And again, this is sorted by industry group rank first, as is my list. I'll drag this out of the window. Here's the first stock on the list. It's Applied Materials. Again, this is group number 2. Auto manufacturing had no stocks with a composite rating of over 90 from my screens. Also, I will tell you this. I have constraints. I'm not going to look at stocks that A, have a really low composite rating, or B, they trade too thin. You will find that a stock that trades really thin, you can say, Pat, what do you mean by that? I'm talking a stock that has 20, 30, 40, 50,000 shares a day. It's great when it's going up, but I'll tell you what, when they drop, they'll drop that bid on that stock and you can get hit. I want to find things that are fluid. You can glide in and you can glide out. And you'll understand if you trade a thin stock that it only takes one time to sit there and rack you up. Anyway, that's my thought. So here we go. Applied Materials, group number 2, leading stock in the group. Looks fine. Now, it's a little bit extended from this base, all right? But looks fine. No problems with it there at all. Also, I have to tell you this. I'll drag this out just a bit here. Here we go. I have to tell you this. Looking at this, it's very, very important. We'll do this, and we'll do that. Very important just to tell you that looking at this, good volume there. It's a bit extended in price. Be careful with that. Here we go. Let's continue on. Lam Research, semiconductor equipment. Looks fine. Nothing wrong with it. All right. What is an issue? This is a valuable lesson for you. Please don't buy stocks that are extended from a proper entry spot. It bounced off the 8-day and followed up, but up here, is there any edge in buying here? No, there's not. Something to remember. Here we go. On down the line. Onto Innovation. This is semiconductor equipment also. What catches your eye on this? You can say, well, I'll tell you one thing that concerns me is it's got an earnings per share rank of 84 and a composite rating of 98, and all that's great, and relative strength of 87. See this bar right here? It gaps up and reverses and closes near its lows for the day on extremely heavy volume. Every price and volume bar talks. Our job is to observe and listen to it. Is this a good bar or a bad bar? This is a bad bar. Look at the volume. That's not mom and dad selling. That's serious institutional selling on a stock. So, and by the way, you could say, why did that happen? Earnings. So what's it tell us? Leave it alone. There's better fish to fry. Just leave it alone for this point in time. CCMP. Stock looks fine. There's no problems with this all. It's got an earnings per share rank of 66 though, but it's got a composite rating of 98 and it's in the top 10 groups. Is there a clean entry here, folks? I'll ask you, is there a clean entry up here? Not yet. Not yet. So we have the patience and we have the discipline to wait, just for what it's worth. On down the line, ACLS. Axcelis Technologies. It's got a composite rating of 92, relative strength of 95. Lifted through these tops right here. See this? Is there a good entry at this point in time? No, there's not. But eventually there could be. Composite rating, like I said, 92, relative strength 95 near highs. I like the green, a volume accumulation, green volume accumulation, look at that. These big green bars, those are buys. They're buying it. So that's good. But is there a clean entry here? No. Maybe in a couple of days it'll base and then take out the highs of this bar at around 29 and a quarter. That's what we'll look for. Entegris. This is also a semiconductor stock. It's moving up. It has an earnings per share rank of 93 and a composite rating of 98. Looks fine. Do you like that bar? That's a good bar. Look at the volume on that bar. But now look at the chart. Is there a low risk entry spot at this point in time? And the answer is no. So it's one to watch, but as far as entry right now, there's nothing there. Form factor, semiconductor equipment. This stock has an earnings per share of 86 and a composite rating of 99. It looks good. Going sideways, what would we want to see? Just go sideways and then take out the tops of these bars here on volume might lead to something. This bar right here, folks, do you see that? They sold it down, and they sold it down on pretty heavy volume. That is a slight negative. Do you know why that happened? What happened on that day? You could probably guess. They had earnings. Again, it's just going sideways. Is there a low risk entry here? No, there's not. That's just the way things work out at times. Here we go. This is a biotechnology stock. I just stuck one in there, okay, just to show you. Now, it's got great earnings. And it's a longer base. But I do stress, team, it is individual biotechnology. Please be careful with individual biotechnology. Can't stress that enough. That can cause problems, to say the least. Boyd Gaming, for what it's worth right here. This is naturally you can guess what this is. This is in the gaming group. Casino gaming is what that is. It's not toy manufacturing, just for what it's worth. But what do we have here? Earnings per share ranks 97, composite ratings 99. Everything looks good. There was an entry spot here going across here, all right? But now it's extended. Have the discipline to wait for a setup. Is there any good setup at this point in time? No. Also, I need to tell you this. This stock has earnings on the 20th. Earnings on the 20th. Be aware of that, okay? February 20th, earnings. And now I've got more good news for you. Guess what? Earnings are winding down. And you know what? That's just fine with me. Next stock on the list is Thor Industries. This is in the mobile manufacturing group, okay? RVs, etc. It looks fine. Earnings per share ranks 92, composite ratings 98, relative strength is 95, going sideways, lifted up a bit on some volume. Is there a clean entry spot here at this point in time? No. By the way, please, don't think I'm sounding negative. I'm the eternal bull. I love stocks. I love doing this, okay? You know why I like doing it so much? I love the challenge. You're like, oh no, it's the money. No, it's not the money. It's the challenge. If you follow your rules and tactics, there's tremendous satisfaction in having the discipline to do that, and the money is just a byproduct. The money. I encourage you from a psychological perspective, Don't get too hung up on the money. Focus on your rules and tactics. It makes a big difference. I have a couple of degrees in psychology. It's just really important. Got to share that with you. Let's continue onward. What do we have next? Winnebago. Winnebago, it's an RV manufacturing group, all right? Good group. This stock has an earnings per share rank of 78 and a composite rating of 98. Last quarter's earnings were up 4%. Last quarter's sales up 19. It's just a slow, steady grinder. Is there a good entry here? Do you see a low-risk entry here? No, there's not. Maybe in a couple of days it'll go sideways and it'll go across these tops at around 61.60, and that would be constructive. But at this point in time, nothing. Next stock on the list, Advanced Micro Devices, Semiconductor. Looks fine. Looks fine. We're in this. We bought this here, sold some, bought some here. Looks fine. Is there a safe entry here? Is there really a low-risk entry? No. Spot to buy was right in this day here, which we did. And it's moving up. It's moving up. Now, is it running away? No. But it's in a good group. We'll have to watch it and see what happens. By the way, I have to tell you this. This stock's last quarter's earnings were up 300% and sales were up 50%. That's power. And earnings estimates are rising. Now, that being said, is this a safe entry spot right here? No, it's not. It's not. So you have to wait. Wait for it. Patience is important. I always say this, just because the market's open for business doesn't mean you have to do business. Find ones that are clean and simple, that provide really clean and simple entries, and you will do better. I promise. Next stock on the list right here is IPHI. IPHI in the semiconductor group also, semiconductor fabless. Earnings per share rank 77, composite ratings 97, relative strengths 95. I like this clean shelf right here. See that? Isn't that nice? That's really good. That's great. However, every price and volume bar talks. Tell me about this bar. Right there's the open. Here's the high. Here's the low. And here's the close. Is this a good bar or a bad bar? You tell me. Well, it gaps up and runs up and closes below where it opened on a pickup in volume. Still has good accumulation overall in the chart. But what do we need to see? To offset this bar, we need to come across this white line right here, this little shelf, and we need to do it on a really good pickup in volume. Okay? A good pickup in volume. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't know the future. But it is in a leading group, and it's a clean shelf for what it's worth. Next stock on the list, Lattice Semiconductor. This is group rank 8, of course. Chomping around. Look at these bars. It goes up, and then it comes down. Look at all these red bars. There's a lot of them. There's a cluster of them there. Now, look at these bars. Look at the volume. Always combine price and volume. Look at this. Look at the volume on these two bars, these two strong bars. The volume on all these two bars is higher than all of these red bars. Isn't that interesting? See how that works? Things to take into consideration, and you don't have to overthink it. So what are we going to do with it here? Well, it needs to go through here, through these tops. If it does with volume, could be a candidate. Next stock on the list is Nvidia. We're about done. Nvidia. This is a great lesson. I made a video on this for everybody today. There was a small shelf right here. Small shelf. You see that? I'm going to do something for you. You'll see it in the video if you watch it. Right there. Just a little shelf. Say if it took out the tops of this shelf, it's a max list stock. Leading group, leading stock. Just to tell you, this stock's got an earnings per share rank of 93, a composite rating of 99, relative strength of 97. Last quarter's earnings, well, you'll see in a second, we're up 136%. All right? You didn't know that when you bought it. But again, nice little shelf right here. And what did you want to see? Take out these tops on a pickup in volume. And it did it. Look at that. Is that beautiful? That's sweet. And then it goes on up. And this is the payday earnings. Own it down here. All righty. And right there is about 35 points. Moving up for us. Now, that's not bragging. Please don't take it that way. The point is this. We teach constantly rules and tactics to get in and rules and tactics to get out. That helps us. Is this a safe entry here? I know I'm going a little longer, but this is important. I like training. This is not an entry here. So what do you have to do? You leave it alone. Finally, last stock on the list, CCOI. Alrighty. Cogent Communications Holdings. It's got an earnings per share rank of 97 and a composite rating of 94, relative strengths 92, leading into new high ground. Last quarter's earnings were up 67%. It's in a great group. Looks good. But I ask you, do you see a super low risk entry right here? It's tough. There was a lower risk entry a couple of days ago bouncing off the 8-day. Look, it goes here, inside bar, lifts off the 8. What was the negative? Low volume. It's going up, but is there any real power here? No, there's not. Therefore, by default, I would tell you, you got to wait on it. There's nothing there. You have to wait. Anyway, that's a video recap of the leading stocks in the top 10 groups, just to see what was going on. I encourage you to watch it, study it. If you have any questions, ask me. All right, I'll be glad to help. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you. And again, my goal is to help you make money, but also teach you. This is what I always say. To know that 2 + 2 = 4 is knowledge. To know why 2 + 2 = 4 is knowledge that is applicable to other situations. And I think that's very important. Then you own the concept. If you own the concept, then that gives you the power to make good, informed decisions. And I thank you.